Rev up your engines! Okay, here's a 2015 Kia Cadenza. The owner originally bought it, had it as a lease, then he bought the lease out and he paid 40 grand for it, so it wasn't cheap. Should he keep it or should he get rid of it? Well, as usual, I'll give an honest answer, show you the problems this particular model did or didn't have, and go from there. Now, as we can see when we take the beauty cover off, it's a GDI engine, and it's 6-cylinder. Got a reasonable amount of power. Now, he averages about 18 miles a gallon. So it's no gas miser, that's for sure. That's the problem with V6 engines. So you're going to use more gas. They're a bigger engine. It's got plenty of power. On the positive side, quite a few of the Kia 4-cylinder engines blew up because they didn't make them right. This V6 engine, they do not have that problem. You can see it's gasoline direct injection. Here's a high pressure fuel pump right here. Most of the GDI injectors that put in a whole bunch of pressure. So in this case, I have to say, it makes me kind of wonder about the system itself, because the GDI is supposed to give you extra power and better gas mileage, but he's getting 18 miles a gallon, so it's not getting the greatest gas mileage in the world. He's happy with it the way it is, and not being the 4-cylinder engine, he isn't going to have to think about, is this 4-cylinder Kia engine going to explode on me? Replaced the suspension springs twice. They had a recall, and then they had to fix one under warranty because it broke. But they did cover it. He didn't have to pay anything for that. In Rhode Island the whole time, so let's look around. I really don't see any surface rust. We'll crawl under. What do we got under here? Still solid as a rock, not rusted out anywhere. One is only front wheel drive, so you don't have to deal with any complexity of the back. The backs are just rolling. Now take a peek inside. You can see the leather's still in pretty good shape. Doesn't have that many miles on it. It's only got 58,607 miles on it. For its 40 grand, he did get dual sunroofs. I mean, it's a nice setup. Nice leather, heated steering wheel, air conditioned, and heated front seats, both driver and passenger. Got a screen in the back. You can have it up or you can put it down at a touch of a button. That's kind of nice. Now, the back seat's got a lot of room. Those aren't seat covers for seat covers' sake. His dog goes back there, so I didn't want to ruin it. So he put that on for the dog, and I don't blame him. It's a nice dog, but dogs will chew up your leather seat something fierce with their nails. So let's start her up. Now, interestingly enough, he drove here strictly on highway. He got 31.7 on highway. But as he just told me, he's not a slow driver. So when he's in town, he zooms around. Then he's only going to get 18 because he's zooming around. It's a heavy vehicle. On the highway, it's going to get better gas mileage. Now, this is their luxury car, so as you can see, it's an actual automatic transmission. You can put it in manual mode, and it has 6 speeds. You can do paddle shifting up here if you want to. Or on the bottom, see, you can turn the traction control off if you want. The engine sounds good, but it's only got 58,000 miles. So we're going to get our computer out because he wants me to tell him, should he keep this car? Because, you know, it's almost pushing 10 years old. Or whether he should keep it. Now, it's a luxury car, so we got to take this panel off to plug the OBD in. Kia USA. Now, it's the Kia Cadenza 2015. It's a 3.3 liter V6 GDI engine, and we'll diagnose, see whether it's in good shape and you should keep it or not. Everybody knows me, I'm not a big Kia fan, but I do analyze things honestly. Considering he's the original owner, well, his wife is, and he's only got 58,607 miles on it, that's not too many miles. And realize this, it is the V6 engine. It is not the 4-cylinder engine that are notorious for having problems with these things. This engine doesn't burn any oil. The 6-speed automatic that can be manually shifted still shifts like a dream. We have no faults whatsoever, not a single one. So let's go to the engine, start it up, and we'll go to live data. Go, battery voltage is fine, accelerator pedal information, that's all fine. You can see, as I was warned about Kias, the camshaft is a little bit worn, but nothing outrageous. You can see desired position of bank 1 is 0.02, and this moves around a little, 0.2 minus 0.02, and the same thing for cam position sensor 2. Bank 2 is 0.02, and it's moving around a little bit. It's a tiny bit of wear, not much. I mean, look, that's 2 100ths, and this is sometimes 2 100ths, sometimes minus 15 100ths. That's not that much. Just shows that there's some wear. Where in something like a Lexus, there would probably be 0 wear at all. Same thing with the exhaust camshafts, you can see. The desired and the actual are just off a tiny bit. The short-term fuel trim is 1 on each side. That's hardly anything, 1%. This is the long-term. That's 1% too. So it's really running quite well. And as far as the 6-cylinder, they're all zeros. It's all normal, so let's take it for a spin. So here we go, backing up in the luxury Kia. And as you can see when I stop, Extremely smooth car. Yeah, you know, it's got 56,000 miles on it, and it's a V6. Realize with Kias, the doors just lock themselves. It's the V6 engines that are the good engines. The 4-cylinder ones are the ones that have all the problems blowing up. These V6 engines, especially this one, which is made in Korea, it's a Korean car, are the best made ones of them all. Now, I can't say that I'd spend 40 grand for a Kia. There's no way that I would. But if somebody was selling this as a used car with 58,000 miles, if I could get it cheap enough, that does have gasoline direct injection, so it should have a little bit of zip to it when we take off. We'll look around. Nobody to the left, a bunch of people to the right. Going to be a wait here. Alrighty, the mail truck's slow, so we'll go in front of them. You can hear that V6 engine kick in. Variable valve timing GDI. It's got plenty of grunt to it. That's one of the reasons the owner likes it. He's a fast driver. Now, he has had to replace the springs twice, but it was free each time. Let's hope they don't break again, because they're not going to keep fixing them for free on a car that's pushing 10 years old anymore. But it tracks fine. We'll try out the manual shift. All right, it's in first gear now. So we'll go up the hill. Reasonably smooth shifting. I mean, it's not a race car. It isn't totally crisp with the automatic transmission and you shifting them manually. Stop on the gas. It does go. No problems with that. And when you drive it normally, it's still got extremely smooth shifting. Barely recognize it when it's shifting. Now, I've driven faster cars. I've driven cars that handled better. And really, there's no way in Hades that I would have paid 40,000 bucks for this car. But it still runs perfectly fine. He's a fast driver. He likes it. Doesn't burn oil. Still goes down the road. My computer said there's no problems at all. And the live data showed it was running at like 99% efficiency. So I'd tell him to keep the car, really. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. So there you have it, a Kia that Scotty doesn't say, get rid of that pile of junk as fast as you can. But it's because it's got the V6 engine. It doesn't have a CVT transmission. They leased it. Then they bought it. They know the history of the car. It has no codes. It's running at 99% efficiency. Hey, it still could last quite some time. Now, like I showed, the cams show a tiny bit of wear. But generally, it's not going to affect the running of the car, from my experience with these Kia engines, until it gets 150, 160,000. Then it'll start misfiring a little. And when I looked at that data, it wouldn't be off 0 point what? It would be off like 8, 10, 12%. Then you'd know, yes, the cams are really worn, and it's time to either get another car or not. But this isn't even close to that yet. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Moto Girl says, I found a 2013 Ford Fiesta on Craigslist. 115,000 miles for 3,800 bucks. Should I buy it? I'm a 50-year-old woman. I don't want to be fooled. It seems like a good deal. But let me tell you something. Ford Fiesta is one of the crappiest cars ever made. They had all kinds of problems. This is the only way I would buy that car. You'd have to have a mechanic check out because they have so many problems to make your head spin. Let a mechanic check it out. But I would only buy it if it had a manual transmission. Their automatic transmissions stink. They blow up. They cost a fortune. To fix it would cost you a lot more than they're asking for the whole car. If it is an automatic, if I were you, I wouldn't even get near that car. You'll buy yourself an endless money pit. But if it is a standard transmission, a manual transmission that you shift yourself, and a mechanic says, yeah, the engine's in good shape, you might go ahead and buy it, right? But if it's an automatic, let me tell you, all my customers bought a Fiesta with an automatic, they regretted it. All the trannies blew up in them, and then they just junked the cars because it would cost too much money to fix. And they aren't that good cars anyway. They ride like crap. They bounce around like a washing machine that's got an unbalanced load. I'd stay away from it if I were you. Musket Man says, is this a good buy? A 2017 Tacoma SR 4x4X head cab with 140,000 miles for $16,250. Okay, well, everything's expensive these days. If you want to buy a new one of those things, you're going to pay more like $36,000 instead of 16. So the price is whatever the market will bear, and that's what they generally go for. It is a 2017, so it's only 6 years old. That means that 140,000 miles is probably a lot of highway driving. Highway driving does not wear out things. Trust no one. I've seen people have things like that. They looked okay. Then a mechanic like myself check them out and say, whoa, man, this thing's been through the washing machine and it's had 6 previous owners and look, it's been wrecked, flooded, blah, blah. So I have a guy check it out, of course, right? The red flag is it's only 6 years old. Let's say it's had 3, 4, 5 different owners. Don't buy it. Then it's obviously had problems and people keep selling it on. But let's say it's a one owner. It could be a good deal then. You want to do a lot of research when you buy a car. Find how many people owned it. Have a mechanic check it out regardless. Because you don't know if it was wrecked, flooded, stolen. Mechanic can tell that really easy with the scan tool and his use of his brain. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.